Well, I posted the video last night because I thought there would be a kit to talk about today. And there is no new kit to talk about today. Yes, we know Squeezer has the screen special, which I think most people probably thought that would happen. They tend to put the new special on a shooter at one point or another. But, that aside, we didn't get as much. So, I don't have a long video today. I just have a few things to briefly talk about. There's going to be a little bit as a hopefully final note to the there is no meta discussion, and there's a little bit of news in terms of what I'm going to cover with the kit. So I want to state briefly that first, I will be breaking down the screen special and possibly some data mine thing. If we don't get news tomorrow, there'll be a warning for that at the end of the video in a main channel video probably coming out this Wednesday. So I will talk more about the screen info we got, like the fact that we know it isn't a wall, like it doesn't block shots at all, you know, it's just smoke, and the extra data we got on it, and it messing with your audio, and all that will be covered in its own video, because I have a lot to say about it, and I think it's much better to be in a scripted format anyway. And then there's the data mine stuff, which I'll probably either lightly talk about after a spoiler warning, or we'll see something tomorrow and I'll have more of a discussion on that. So I will talk about that in a few days on the main channel. Outside of that, when I talk about kits, I'm mostly waiting for them to be completely confirmed, like actually fully see the entire kit. And right now, we don't have that on any of the weapons. So, like, we know Squeezer is screen, we know Undercover has screen, we know Imperi is curling, we know Reflex is wall, but we don't know the complete kits for any of them. And so that's why I haven't made a video talking about any of them yet. I'm going to wait for the entire thing to be revealed. That way we have a little bit more to talk about and work with right now. So those will be coming soon. I expect we'll start getting kits tomorrow. I'm kind of surprised we haven't gotten any already, outside of Pencil, which I already covered. So we'll probably see that soon. I wanted to end this by talking a little bit about game balance, because I got a few comments on the video that have our standards changed on what we want to be with the game being balanced? Isn't this something we've wanted with, like, more things to be picked? And so, one thing that I felt I didn't really clarify enough, outside of what meta is, which I kind of talked about already by now, is when you balance a game, it is not just about making the most amount of things viable as possible. Something I tried to communicate when I showed the kit power of everything is the game has had a different sense of scale for how powerful something is, how powerful something feels. And what Splatoon 1 did is most of its best weapons were on this side of the spectrum, and they all felt broken because of it. Like, E-Liter felt broken. You had burst bombs to defend yourself, you had damage of partial charges, you could locate everyone on the map. Range Blaster could actually jump and hit people, you could use your Splat Bomb more, you had instant activation Kraken, Slosher had burst combos, Cherry had, like, wall to defend itself and bubble, etc., etc. What Splatoon 1 did is put everything that was good on this side of the spectrum. So even though there was, like, 8 really good weapons in the game, all of them felt really good to use. All the combinations of comps you could use typically felt good, and so it felt like you had a lot of power on your hand. The issue with Splatoon 3 isn't that, like, a lot of stuff can't work, it's that a lot of stuff sort of works, but the reason it works is because we're taking away from things that actually feel powerful. Except we're not doing that entirely, because, you know, kits like this are still in the game. And this, and this, and this. But it's only a few of them. And this leads into a lot more potential problems. For example, it's cool that everyone has to be really adaptable, but what about people one-tricking specific weapons like Roller? Like, Roller's gotten results recently because one-tricks have pushed the weapon. Is it a bad thing that people are one-tricking the weapon when it's off-meta? Because people typically don't like, they just lock the meta weapon and stick with it. But it's a different story when someone is one-tricking an off-meta weapon and trying to push it. All of a sudden, there's a lot more sympathy for someone there. And like it or not, pushing a meta that's more counter-pick heavy and has more playing around what you're comfortable with discourages one-tricking off-meta weapons arguably even more than it does one-tricking meta weapons, because typically, one-tricking meta weapons with really good kits still works. You could probably still one-trick V-Shot and be totally fine into everything. It's not like even the best of weapons have to switch off. So, I think Splatoon 3 is pushing the balance a bit too low in terms of power, in my opinion. I think that stuff like Splash and Ballpoint, after the special nerfs, stuck a good balance between feeling powerful while still having weaknesses, and I think a lot of weapons in this game feel really weak, even if they can work. And that's the thing that I kind of want to change personally. That's one thing that I think is a bit of a problem, is you have a lot of comps that don't feel that good to play at the highest level, and that's something I would like to change. You know, especially for, again, things like one-tricking weapons. Like, I think one-tricking rollers should be powerful. That's why I talked about my 5 issues with the game balance video. Like, I think these weapons that you have to dedicate your time to should feel really rewarding. And, you know, it's a complicated topic. Maybe this was something better to do a stream ramble than a small video, but I think it's important to note that how powerful weapons feel and the options you have are something important as well, and I'm personally hoping that something like one-tricks pushing off-meta weapons aren't going to be as hurt by something like this. But at the end of the day, it's a volatile state of the game that will surely change, and we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching.